Good afternoon. Hello, hello, hello. Um, so, as, uh, as many of you know, uh, I'm often get to chat here about recovery and recovery from addiction or recovery from living in the problem. And that's really my message often. Um, the thing that comes to me today to share is that, and it seems so obvious that it's almost laughable now, that the problems of our lives cannot be um, fixed, if you will, at the level that we're experiencing them. And I first, you know, came to realize that was reading Dr. David Hawkins, and I've read a ton of Hawkins stuff and listened to his audios and listened to his books as well. And you know, and Hawkins it basically said that as we surrendered, as we let go of guilt and shame and became aware of and let go of anger and fear and as we let go of desire and wanting things to be different, you know, we were lifted up and into our natural state and now I had got those same lessons in the big book in Alcoholics Anonymous, but it was, you know, for me it was difficult to sometimes interpret, you know, the way that I needed to hear it. I needed to hear it from a number of different sources. Is really what happened, and then I saw, you know, I couldn't always see it. Now, what I wanted to do is read to you just a little something out of the the book, the big book of AA, and there are a lot of promises. And what do we want? We want to be free of pain and doubt and guilt and shame and anger, don't we? I mean, we want to live happy, joyous, and free. And the promises that we read often are I mean, there are many. There are promises in step 3. There are promises in step 4 and 5, but in step 9 it says if we're painstaking about this phase of our development, this is the 9th step, which is we're making an amends step. Be amazed before we're halfway through. We're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. I mean, we could stop there, but he goes on and says we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We'll comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. Imagine. I mean, this is not bullshit. This is what's happening to, you know, millions of people when they really realize that, you know, they can be lifted up to this level. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we'll see that our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know, I love this line, we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. And it's beautiful. Now, they use the word God in this program, and I often interchange that with love. You know, when I'm working with people, lots of times there's a resistance to, you know, because of some thing they learned in Sunday school or some idea they got from religion, and so I use the word love because I think they're interchangeable. I think that a power greater than ourselves is love. I've worked with lots and lots of guys that, you know, who've said, you know, I like the 12 steps, but I don't like the God stuff, and say, well, let's let that go. What we want is to be lifted up above our problems, to be able to be of service to humanity. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men over the years, and you know, men write out their purpose in life. It's always around service, always. around service, and so we want that. It seems to be fundamental in us, and so we need to be lifted up to a place where we can serve, and actually service itself lifts us up. It's kind of they come together, and as we're serving and helping others, our life situations that we thought were, we couldn't live with, seem to disappear. The self-pity disappears, and their fear disappears, and because we're not thinking about ourselves, we're thinking about others. So there's in the 12 steps, it's all integrated in there. We're definitely lifted up. We make a decision in the beginning, and we realize all of a sudden that our thinking has not been our best friend. We were selfish and self-centered and full of fear, but how do we deal with that? So we basically get lifted out of it. Many of my friends and myself included, in my early days of recovery, I would go to a meeting. Right, I would go to a meeting, and I didn't know what happened, but an hour later I'd walk out, and whatever, I would go in there sometimes, so full of anger and fear, and just, and an hour later I would come out of there literally lifted up, because in the meeting was this unconditional love, and I would be, I would be in it, would be like, my gosh, and I would come out of it like at the end of the meeting, and all my problems had seemed to have disappeared, and we were standing outside laughing and carrying on. And when I went in there an hour earlier, I thought that my life was over. So we can kind of get it that way, but as we do this work, and we do it on a daily basis, we're lifted out of the self-pity and self-seeking, and the fear is gone. It disappears, and our life situation changes as a result. And so that's that's what I wanted to share today, is that it seems so easy. Really, it's not that complicated. If you're in your life and you're unhappy with how things are, focus on, I say coming into the moment, because in this moment is love. In this moment is this relationship with the amazingness of all things, and as we learn to drop the thoughts, we become aware. Most of the time we're just not aware. We think we are our thoughts. We think we are our problems, and it's not true. So we're just friggin' unaware, right? And how complicated is that? I mean, if you want to spend the next 20 years kind of becoming a therapist, or learning about the psychology of things, I think fine, but the truth is that we can be literally lifted out of the pit of despair in days, or in moments, right now, by stopping and breathing and dropping in, being here now, watching the thoughts, just watching them, and then in a practical thinking of how we can help others when we're in the world, call somebody and say, how are you? And listen. Don't try to fix them, just listen. Be there for others. It's amazing how much it lifts us up. So that's a bit of the recipe. One of the books that I found in the last few years that I found to be an amazing aid, I guess, for me, because I the same as everybody else on the planet, I can tend to fall into crazy thinking. I need to be lifted up too. And this book is what I'm sharing with you today. Stephen Mitchell wrote this translation of the Tao Te Ching, and I've been reading it kind of as we go. And I think I'm on, if I'm not mistaken, on chapter 65. It's very short, and I'm going to read it to you. And these, this stuff, just, we surround ourselves with the masters. Like, I've spent hours listening to, of course, people in the 12-step world, because their example is usually one I really, really relate to, because I had lost everything and was, I mean, another day I'll tell you my story, but you know, I certainly was at the bottom of the pit a number of times. So I love listening to people in the 12-step world because they talk about, you know, coming from, you know, from. I used to say that I was so low that a snake's asshole looked like a star. How low is that? You know, and so often in the 12-step world, when we listen to the speakers, that's the story. You know, they really lost it all, so I enjoy those, and you can access those on YouTube. 12-step speakers, AA speakers, NA speakers, and be inspired. I love to be inspired, and this book I find is one of those things that inspires me, and written by lao-tzu, many years ago, and this is a translation of that book. And 65. The ancient masters didn't try to educate people, but kindly taught them to not know. Because it's through not knowing that we can rely on love or universal intelligence or consciousness in each moment. We can be free. When they think that they know the answers, people are difficult to guide. When they know that they don't know, people can find their way. People can find their own way. When they know that they don't know, people can find their own way. Isn't that beautiful? When they know that they don't know, people can find their own way. If you want to learn how to govern, avoid being clever or rich. The simple pattern is the clearest. The simplest pattern is the clearest. Content with the ordinary life, with an ordinary life, you can show all people the way back to their own true nature. Content with an ordinary life, you can show all people the way back to their own true nature. So we all have the ability to help others, to not fix anybody's problems, but just love them. And that love, your love, and you know, kind of awakens their love. And it's possible. Love is contagious. Okay. Thank you. Love you guys. And thanks for listening today. Check us out on YouTube. Love it. If you subscribe there, we're kind of growing the YouTube channel. It's a bit of a challenge or project or whatever. Okay. Love you guys. Thanks.